is only going to make you, it's going to make you depend on the aids. And then at some point, you're going to hit a wall. And that wall is going to be, well, I want to become faster. How do I get faster? Well, you need to learn how to trail brake. But you have all these assists on that not allowing you to do that. So my thing is this: go through the pain the same way Eric went through the pain, the same way Jeff went through the pain, the same way I went through the pain. Go through the pain. Don't race against nobody. Get on the track and just lap by lap. Pick a track, your favorite track. Learn it. Hello and welcome to the Chicane Podcast, where we discuss all things in the sim racing world. I'm your host, Jason Rivera, and I'm joined here again today by Jeff and Eric. How are you both doing today?
Doing good, man.
Hey, here he is.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys as always. Ready to go. Ready to get into it.
Where's the team? Where's the team? That's exactly what I want to hear, man. We are live, guys. We are live. I have some updates for you before we get into what the show is going to be about today. As you can see us now, and we have a YouTube channel that's hosting these. TGS Sim Racing on YouTube. You can find all the videos now. From here on out, it will be audio and video. So we're coming in hot. Last week we had the creator of the lovely sim racing, Constantinos, come on the show, and we had some problems. We had some issues with recording and software not working, and I'm just being as transparent with you guys as possible. So we were a little delayed on uploading the video on time because the show, our vision for the show is for you to have an episode to listen to at the start of your week. That's how come when we end the show, it's, you know, we're telling you to have a great start of your week. That way you can, Monday morning, you know, most of us that work are driving to work. So, you know, it's a good source for you to have to keep up on the news. And then I'm also going to give you an update on the live streaming, or my personal live streaming, Track Ghost. I'm not gone. I haven't quitted. I just been working hard on getting the show prepared for video, and that's complete. So tomorrow, or, you know, we're recording this on Wednesday. I'll let you know the secret, but tomorrow I should be live. Okay. Which you probably won't hear this till Monday anyway, but just letting you know that I'm coming back. I haven't forgotten about you guys, and I'm excited to jump back in the rig and do the twice a week streaming that I do. Also,
our fearless leader, let me give you a little shout out here. Our fearless leader has been grinding, putting that first live stream together. So we'll cut him a little slack here. He's crushing it. He's working some long hours for us. So we appreciate it.
And so definitely. Are you guys. Eric stayed up till 3 o'clock. He got up at 1 o'clock in the morning and was up till 3 a.m. on a day that he's supposed to be sleeping to get up for work. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, but, you know, we're doing it for the community. We're here to support, and we want to hear from you. You guys been emailing the channel, the podcast, and keep that up, please. The more you email us, the more, you know, content and support we can give you. Also, with that, if you saw last week's episode, which covers the lovely sim racing, we have a planned second guest. DNR, aka Daniel Newman Racing, is coming on to the Chicane Podcast. And
let's go.
He's not coming on this week. He'll be coming on next week. So the plan is, if you email us at thechicanepodcast@gmail.com, if you have any questions about sim racing or the show, or the interview with Daniel Newman that's about to air, or it's not about to air, excuse me. We're about to record that next week. But if you send me questions, we should get those in time before the recording starts, okay? So I'm going to give you guys the chance. If you want to send Dan a question or the show, doesn't matter. We'll take any of your questions. But without further ado, I'm going to hand this mic over to Mr. Kelly, Eric. He's going to give us some updates on GT7.
Yes, sir. So for all my PS5, PS4 racers out there, If you've raced in the past week or so, you've probably noticed things are a little bit different. Might have heard some people fussing, might have heard some people celebrating, but Gran Turismo updated the physics model along with adding a Michelin tire partnership. So all the tires in the game are now Michelin tires. But they updated the physics model, which definitely
Oh wow.
actually impacts the brakes, the entire
So wait,
braking
I got a
model.
question for you, Eric, about that. I didn't know about the
Yeah,
Michelin tires. So
yeah,
is it and I'm not trying to stop what you're trying to do, right? But
yeah, yeah.
is the tire just aesthetic that it just says the brand, or does it actually change the grip on the cars?
So that's as of right now, a lot of the hardcore GT7 guys are saying the actual tire makeup is different as well. So along
The
with
model, the tire
the
model. Got you.
yeah, because they've noticed certain cars, the tire wear on them is drastically different. Like on some cars, it's extreme. Like one guy, he went from driving
That's kind of
a
cool, man. And you can
yeah,
see the name on it that says Michelin on the tire.
yep,
That's kind of sick, man. That's kind of cool. You know.
yeah, yeah. So it was a welcome,
Oh,
and they had like a Michelin, in the brand central. They had like a Michelin kind of backstory. You know, Gran Turismo is really history heavy, so they had like the history of
oh
Michelin
yeah.
and some other partners in there. But yeah, they added in the Michelin tire deal, which definitely impacted the tire model as well. Tire wear is significantly more important, and also braking. Right now, if you are used to being able to kind of slam on the brakes, or you know, thinking you're going to give a lot of steering input while under heavy braking, those days are done. Like you actually have to learn how to brake properly now in order to not spin out. Um, so it's been interesting. But speaking of tires and tire models, and also piggybacking off of Mr. Constantino's coming, I've been doing some digging and just trying to see what all you can do with the lovely dashboard from a GT7 perspective. And I'm pretty happy to report that it's pretty cool. So if you're interested in trying to monitor your tire temps in GT7, which the game doesn't give you tire temps, the lovely dashboard is getting that telemetry from the game, so it can actually report to you your tire temps, and also a lot of the other modules in this dashboard work as well, like tracking your times on the map, actually comparing your tire temps between uh, multiple laps. A lot of cool stuff.
The
So if you're
average,
trying to
right?
get faster, yeah,
Mhm.
and also the mapping feature. Um, Once you run a test lap, it'll actually know what track you're on and can show you your location on the track and things like that. Just cool stuff that if you want to play around with a DDU, or for me, I was using my cell phone and just using the SimHub plugin for it, or the app for it. It's pretty cool. But as far as GT7, still alive and well. And right now is
So
the right time to
what
get
is the
in it.
story? Yeah, what is the story with these flying cars in GT7, man? Talk to me about that.
Yeah.
Because
So
if
I
you got a brand new tires. Does these tires have like flaps that the cars can like take off or something? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Look, I don't know if they filled them with Red Bull or what, man, but definitely there are cars growing wings in GT7. But the from what I'm hearing from a technical standpoint, they say it has to do with some of the setups and configurations that people were running prior to this model. And they said that when they applied this new physics model, it made some of those sort of give you impossible kind of outcomes. Whereas like you engine swap a V10 and put it into a bug and put on certain tires, and you got a certain suspension set up, and you hit the gas and the car like bounces, and I don't know exactly what's happening to make them like spin out and flip through the air the way they do, but hopefully they get hopefully they get that worked out. I haven't seen it in
It
any of
hit,
my races. It's not something that
it
happens just in a regular race.
hits like
Okay.
2.1 gigawatts, and 88
Yeah, I
mile
don't
an
know if
hour,
it's
and off it goes
The
into
flex
the past or the
capacitor.
future. Yeah.
yeah. I'm
Hey,
telling
Eric, do
you,
you think that
what a drop of plutonium.
Hey, do you think that some of these updates will start to, I think Constantinos had a little, drink of that haterade with GT7 when it came to a Simcade. Do you think some of these updates will kind of push that over to the, more of the sim aspect, or do you think it took more of a step in the right direction for that, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think so. In my mind, I'm not delusional. I understand that just being on a console and limited to a console, your ability to have like the full sim experience is limited, right? GT7 is the physics definitely make it more realistic, and that's from people that play iRacing. So the consensus is if you are a hardcore GT7 only person, you're struggling with the new physics model because it is more realistic. But there are certain people that are like, I'm faster now. Like, this is more comfortable for me. I like it. Those people tend to be iRacing, ACC kind of people. So it definitely seems like they're taking a step more towards realism, at least in the braking model and tire wear. But as far as GT7 itself being more of a sim, um, I'd say no, simply because you're still very limited with the inputs and the amount of control and just the options you have to control different things in the car. You're still limited to your buttons on the wheel. I've seen some guys like hack together button boxes that work, but it's still not a native solution, right? It's not plug it up and it works, right?
Mm.
So in
To
my
be honest with
mind,
you,
yeah,
yeah. So to be honest with you, when you say that the game is not showing you the tire temperature, but then you can
yeah,
see it in the dashboard, that
yeah,
really bothers me, right?
mhm,
Because that's one part of the tire, right? The tire is temperature and pressure. So
yeah,
the you know the amount of pressure is basically what the temps on the tire, right? So I mean,
mhm,
and they change. Pressures change throughout the race, depending on the race, depending on the track temperature. So I'm
mhm.
curious, is why don't they just share that data with us? You know what I mean? Are they just
Yeah,
trying to go for a simplistic view,
Can
or are they just, yeah, go ahead.
I got a question. So it's me just
mhm,
not understanding. So the data, like GT3 has the data, it just doesn't send it to, like, you as the user can't see it on your screen. You have to use a other
Yeah.
device like a dash through SimHub.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I've
The
just never played GT3. Just if you could
GT7.
fill me
Yeah.
in at least.
GT7, yeah,
Excuse me,
yeah.
excuse
It's
me, GT7.
Yeah, so we've all been aware that there are certain models that we don't get to see the data from, just because the UI is limited, and I think it's mostly because they know. Well, the expectation is you're playing on a console, which means you're playing on one TV screen, so the amount of data they can put on there is kind of limited. Um, at least that's my kind of understanding. Some stuff that it doesn't make any sense. Like there are certain things you need to know in order to be able to drive faster, to be more consistent. Even being a VR user, there's certain stuff I can't see when I have on the VR headset that I can when I don't have the headset on, and that's one of the big complaints for people that are like actual seriously trying to get faster, trying to
Trying to
learn,
get
trying to use that
faster.
data. Um, right now,
So
VR
so both
is
those
not the way
things,
to
man.
do it. Yeah.
Both those things, tires and tire pressure, tire temperature and tire pressure
Hmm.
are probably the most important thing, and I'm talking ACC wise. That is
Yeah.
something I'm staring at constantly, is
Yeah.
how's the car doing, and if we need to add pressure to the car, right? Because
Yeah.
the less pressure, more grip, slower car, and so on and so forth, right? You have it's kind of like a cone shape. You want it to be round all the way, and that's how
Yeah.
ACC
Yeah.
projects it. It'll do like 3 lines. You probably saw that, right? And then in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
middle, it kind of cuts down like that. So you want that across the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's already like somebody that knows the track, that's driving, that's trying to find those tenths, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
You're
each
refining
tenth
at
on
that
each
point.
turn, yeah, now you're looking at seconds, right? So
Yeah,
All right,
and it might
man.
have
So
something to do with the fact that you're very limited as far as what you can do, because generally all you can do as far as tires go is swap the compound, so hard, medium,
oh,
soft,
you can't even
rain.
adjust the
Yeah, you
temperature,
can't
not the
adjust the
temperature, the
temperatures.
pressures.
Yeah, it can't adjust the
I mean,
pressure. As far as
right.
temperature, um, there's not. I mean, obviously, if you're burning the tires up, you know you can control that. But really, just them adding in the updated tire wear model, guys. I've been watching guys run the daily races, and they've been having to come up with totally different strategies, like as far as pitch strategies, as far as trying to how to
Ah,
manage the tire wear. So
well, that's a good
they've
refresher,
added in
though. It's a good,
yeah.
yeah.
It really, like, some
It's
people are saying they should
it breathes
reset
life
the
into the game.
leaderships. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people have been suggesting that they reset the leaderboards, because now if whatever time you put up prior to this update, it damn it don't matter, because it's not reflective
Hmm.
of the current game. So, but
It's not
it's good though.
legitimate.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Ooh,
yeah. But it's
dare I
interesting.
say, there's an asterisk up there.
Oh yeah. Hey, put that on there. Pre-update.
So people are faster or people are slower in general?
Um, Generally people are slower, mostly because they can't keep the car from spinning out, because they're used to being able to brake at damn near 100% and give steering input. And so now
That's
everybody's
that
big
sim
complaint
case for
is,
you.
yeah, all the cars understeer now magically for some reason. And it's like, no, you used to give it
Well, yeah, they tend to
90%
do that at
brake,
full
and
force.
yeah. So yeah, people just have to be more gentle on the throttle, and just be more um plan better with the braking. That's the biggest
I
thing
guess
I'm saying. Yeah,
care more about what your brakes are doing. I
yeah.
mean, I think it's awesome. I think that brings more life to the game, and
Oh yeah.
the drivers that are on there can jump from sim to sim, because that is a problem. You can ask Jeff about that. Jumping from sim to sim, different models, different ways of driving,
Mm.
it will,
Yeah,
it doesn't always work out,
it's hard to
Oh yeah.
be good at everything. You
Yeah.
can
Oh yeah.
be really
Yeah.
good at one car, one game, but I mean, I think Jason and I talk, we kind of spend a couple weeks in one, or at least me, I spent a couple weeks in each game and then jump to another game. Like, man, like I didn't know I was this slow in this game. Like I thought I was better than this. Well, it's
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. So it'll be good. It seems like it's a step in the right direction for the franchise,
Oh, for
for the
sure.
game as a whole. So that's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. You get a lot of guys that have been kind of away from the game, playing other stuff, coming back, and they're having to put in effort to be fast again. So, like you said, Jason, that breathes new life into the game for sure.
It does. It does. And, they'll have a better argument whether the game's a simcade or not, which I mean, it's a simcade. I'm just going to say that right now. But, yeah, so
You can
Jeff's
call it
up.
what you want, but some of that video that Eric sends over of his VR headset, you can call it what you want. I call some of that video pretty damn cool, man. I'm gonna be straight with you. It's pretty badass.
Cool,
some of the stuff.
Hey, look, man.
Yeah.
After adding that haptic motor, I mean, that VR is
Here he
that
goes.
VR is a difference maker. It might not make you faster, but I'll be damned, you can't beat it for immersion. It's
For
hard to beat,
immersion?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember that video you sent. It was some type of Formula car, and you looked over, and there's a Ferrari sitting there, wheel to wheel. I was like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
You can say what you want about the game. I'll call it cool. That was pretty cool. I'll tip my hat to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a good experience. I'll say that.
All right. Jeff, you're up with your inputs.
All right. So let's move on to the second topic today. And it kind of dovetails into what a little bit of Eric was alluding to there. So we got a couple topics today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about each topic, and then I'm going to pass it to Jason and Eric to get their opinion on it. So what we're going to talk about today is things that you can do in game legitimately, and questionable tactics that are they considered cheating, looked down upon, gaining an unfair advantage. Insert your word here for whatever you want to substitute for cheating. So I got a couple topics here. So first one, men, is using or turning on traction control and or ABS on formula cars or cars in general that don't have those capabilities in real life. So I have my thoughts on it, but I'm going to pass it to Jason. Why don't you? What are your thoughts on adding those capabilities to a formula car? Obviously, don't have a true formula car. Nothing of that. No aids when it comes to braking. So pass it to you, buddy, for your thoughts, and then we'll go Eric, and I'll close it out with this topic.
Okay, so I don't want to be too harsh on people doing this because it depends.
Hey, if you're playing, we do it straight no chaser on the Chicane Podcast. Straight no chaser.
Yeah, we'll tell you how it is, man, whether you like it or not. But if you're on a controller, and I mean a gamepad, by all means, turn on the assist. There's no way you can finesse your fingers like that. There's no way. You may you know what I'm saying? You're going to get arthritis by doing it. Now, if you have a decent pedals, right? Decent set of pedals and a steering wheel, you're only hurting yourself, because having those aids on when that car just doesn't have it, right, is only going to make you, it's going to make you depend on the aids. And then at some point you're going to hit a wall, and that wall is going to be, well, I want to become faster. How do I get faster? Well, you need to learn how to trail brake, but you have all these assists on that not allowing you to do that. So my thing is this: go through the pain the same way Eric went through the pain, the same way Jeff went through the pain, the same way I went through the pain. Go through the pain. Don't race against nobody. Get on the track and just lap by lap pick a track, your favorite track. Learn it to the T. And that's what I told Jeff this. I was like, Jeff, what is your favorite track? Spa. Okay, drive Spa until you can feel that the car is basically being pushed off onto the, you know, the road strips, right? And if you're doing that, then you're on the limit. If you exit a turn and you're not nowhere near the you still have enough track, you're not using the track. You're not using the track, and those are seconds. I'm not even kidding.
All around the track. Yep.
So no, to summarize that, do not turn those on. Do not turn those on. It first of all, it hurts the immersion. It's not allowed. If you go on any racing, what do you call this? Those racing groups, they'll turn those settings off, and then now you're here with a car that you don't know how to control, and yeah, you put yourself in that position. So the answer is no. So over to Eric.
Well, to piggyback off of what Jason said, if you're on a controller, you definitely need the assists. As far as on cars where they don't exist, to me, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to just have fun, go around the track, if you don't mind, you know, driving Mario Kart and Formula cars, you can keep them on. But if you want to be fast, if you want to be able to race in leagues, if you want the immersion, you want as close to the real thing as possible, just turn them off, man. Turn them off. Like Jason said, it's going to suck at first, but you have to learn. Mm-hmm. You'll learn something, right? You'll learn something new. You learn how to brake. You'll learn throttle control. Learn trail braking. Learn to pay attention to your tires.
That transfers too.
Yeah.
That transfers to other games, right? Yep. So I mean, you might want to.
Okay.
Just
all right.
What do you think yourself, though, Jeff?
Yeah. Coming from somebody, you know, when I first got into it, it's very difficult to not turn them on, because it makes you initially faster. But it gives you, I think, Jason, you alluded to it, but so I'm going to kind of keep going down that hole here, is it will make you faster initially, but what it's really doing is giving you and teaching you bad habits. It is not teaching you that, hey, your maximum braking power is in a straight line. You know, it's going to just teach you bad habits in general that you're going to have to go back and relearn better technique. So I think it's kind of like that. Since we got video, you know, you're driving, you turn them on. Oh, I'm getting better, but then you're just going to plateau because you're not using good technique. Where if you leave them off in cars that don't have it, and you learn good technique for those type of cars, your skill and time is going to keep progressing as you learn those better techniques and how to maximize driving without them. I mean, there's a reason that Formula cars don't have these things, because they're faster without them. So Jason, I think I'm very much with you. I think we're all kind of saying the same thing here, man. It's hard because if you're just getting into it and you're not going when you're comparing times to other people on the sim, and you're getting smoked. It's an easy button. It's a band-aid to covering up technique. So I think we're all saying the same thing. All 3 in a row in the don't turn them on.
One more thing.
I don't know. Go ahead, Jason.
Let me add one more thing to that. So this will be real quick. It's related. So you mentioned TC and ABS, right? Our brakes, at least my brake, and I know your P1000s, you can adjust the curvature and whatever. You can play with how the brake reacts. Do not touch that. Keep it linear. Learn the correct way, because whenever you jump to another game or another sim, it's not gonna work out, and you're gonna waste time. You're gonna waste time and effort. And like Jeff said, and Jeff, you couldn't have said it way better. You're gonna have to relearn everything anyway. So why would you start there? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. But that's all for me.
All right,
on this one.
So we're gonna jump to the next one here. And when I was thinking about this one, I think I just jumped out from driving F1 24, 23 was driving aids. In that game, you can turn on steering assist and throttle assist, I believe, and brake assist. So they're probably all adding in. It's basically another name for TC and ABS, but I think this one's a pretty straightforward one, men. Jason, you want a couple sentences into there on your thoughts to those driving aids?
You mean you talking about the race line, Jeff?
We could talk about the race line. More was just the they have
the other options that. I mean, it's the same principle. Like any sort of assist should be shut off. The only time, and I'm gonna jump the gun because it's related, but what we have here is the radar. So radar doesn't exist in real life, right? But what does exist? You have your team in your head, and they're telling you how close people are to you and where they are. But we don't have that. We got crew chief, which is great. You could use crew chief to have that. But as a new racer, and you're trying to be disciplined on track, you don't want to crash nobody. I highly encourage the radar. The radar's not going to really, it hurts the immersion just a tiny bit, but it avoids something way worse, which is ruining a race for someone. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. That's a good point. By having a radar, an aid could save the race from somebody else. That's very valid. Checks out.
Because it doesn't make you faster. It addresses something that you don't have on a flat screen, which is peripheral vision and being able to look around or whatever. And in console's case, we don't have crew chief either, so we just out there naked.
Exactly. And you don't have triple screens on a console to see the doors. I have a triple screen. I can see the door. You're on a console. You're seeing just the.
All right, this console PC argument here. Hey, Jason, you talked about the racing line here, and I think this one is a argument that comes up all the time on the forums, on Reddit. Somebody posts a video over, hey, how's my technique? And they got the racing line on. Eric, we'll start with you. You a fan of the racing line or not?
So I've never used the racing line. It's distracting. It's distracting to me.
Thank God. You almost you scared me, Eric. I thought you were gonna say, well, I kind of use the racing line. I was about to say, man, we're gonna have to have a conversation.
No, because
I got something I gotta share then. A confession, if you will.
No, Jeff.
From time to time, if I just bought a track or if I'm on a track that I've never driven before, I will turn it on to learn the track, learn the racing line, and then turn it off. It just helps progress to be faster, where the racing line is, helps me learn the track a little bit, where I can set the car up, where some braking points should be. And then I will turn it off and then jump into my qualifying if it's iRacing or, whatever game has the racing line on it.
So
that's a good use
I'm in place.
I think.
I'm pretty sure you guys know this, but I'm going to share it with our listeners, right? The option to have the racing line turned on and then turn it off is an option. So I'm going to tell you my own personal, I'm not saying it's the right way, right? I'm just saying my own personal way of testing out a new track. If you notice, a track usually have tire marks on it already from previous races. And when it's really dark, that's where they're turning in on. So if I grip there, that doesn't mean that line is a perfect line, because the perfect line is your line. Never follow no one into their line. You'll end up crashing. I promise, it happens every single time. Even if that person is faster than you, if you don't know how to handle that corner, don't take it that way. So here's what I do.
Yeah.
I look at those tire marks, and then you'll notice that there's boards on each side of the racetrack, right? So these boards are brake boards, right? So if brake boards, and I might be mirrored on this thing, but if they're on your left, just in your house, look in your shoulder. If the brake boards are on your left side, that means there's a right-hand turn coming up. If they're on your right, that means there's a left-hand turn coming up. If they're both on each side, the 100, the 200, the 150, the 100, and the 50, that means it's a straightaway into a chicane. Most of the time.
Bro, this is where the meme goes of the head exploding.
Right. So easily. Look at the. Yeah. Look at the. You know what you do? You know how you learn a track, Jeff? You take your brake and brake somewhere and visually mark where you braked. And you use little things, because brake boards can be crashed. Now what? They're gone. They were broken in the race. So you need to know there's marks on the road, a tree, a truck, anything to give you a visual indicator. And then you see how the car reacts to that brake. And you do that over and over and over and over. And then if you see that you have enough track, then you move that up an inch, and then another inch, and then another inch. And then you work on turn 2. Now, my problem is Nordschleifer has, I don't know how many, 37 turns. I don't know. It's hard to learn the track. It's a beast, man.
Yeah.
All right. So rolling into what you just said there with those tracks that have 30 more, a lot of turns, is having the track map on also an aid that is something that should be turned off?
Lovely dashboard. Yes. You have 2 options. You can have the animated one, or you can have the pit wall on the top.
Is that if you're a purist, should you be running that? You ain't got that in a real car.
On. My map is on.
Okay.
I ain't even gonna lie.
You see what I'm getting at here? I mean, it's a slippery slope, right?
So now listen to this, Jeff. If you look at the cars, and I'm talking Nordschleifer, if you look at the cars, the GT1 cars that race on the Nordschleifer, they have the map drawn out on the top of their dash, and it says the numbers and everything. So if they're doing that,
but it's not moving. It's not animated.
It's not animated. So, I'm gonna piggyback with Eric. It doesn't make you faster, man. It just makes you aware. Yeah. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And once you, and to Jason's point, nothing replaces getting laps in on a track to become familiar with it, learning those breaking points. Eventually, you're not going to race looking at the map. You'll be racing looking at your breaking points, especially in a real race, looking at, who's in front of you, who's behind, looking at your time, looking at your tires. You've got so much other stuff you're looking at that glancing at that map, eventually it'll just be, a comfort thing. I don't know. But when I'm learning the track, that map is on. It's plastered up there.
Well, so I mean, this is what I was kind of talking about, is the racing line, to learn the map, learn the track, and go.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say too,
I don't think there's a right answer with this stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say too, I didn't think about doing that, but there are certain tracks where if you're like, depending on your view, you can't see the full turn. You can't see the full corner. And having the racing line on might make it very clear to you early on, like, hey, this corner doesn't have a single apex. It might have multiple apexes. It might be some connecting turns that it might take you a couple of laps, to find out, like, oh, this is how I need to take this. I need to approach this one big turn instead of multiple or whatever. It might just give you a little bit of something to, reference while you're learning it. And then, then eventually you might say, like, well, I'll take a different route, but just out the gate, identify those apexes.
I got one more then for you.
I just want to add one thing, though, Jeff.
Go ahead, Jason.
Because you like the racing line. Just be careful with that, because the racing line tells you where to turn, and you tend to listen to that thing, and you're not really pushing the car. But if you're just trying to learn the track, then sure, run it. But make sure you turn that off the way Jeff said, because once you know where the turns are, you need to start learning where to brake and how to enter the corners. That's all I want to say.
All right, last one here. And this is my pet peeve. Not using in the cockpit camera. If you're using a camera outside the car where you can see the peripheral of the car, that's a no-go. That's a deal breaker for me. You can't be claiming lap times and all this other stuff if you're using that. It drives me crazy when you see the F1 when they're on top of the halo. Like, come on, like, you spent all this money and all this gear for a sim, and you're driving it with some garbage view like that. Come on, man.
So let's talk about it. So no behind camera.
I have to agree with Jeff here. So, 1,000%.
So out the gate, I already know no chase cam. That's out. That's out.
Don't you dare.
What about hood cam? How do you feel about hood cam?
No
hood. What about?
And the reason why? I'm gonna tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to hear? You want me? You actually want me to?
I'm waiting. I'm asking because for me, I'm in the cockpit, so I'm curious.
So when you use a hood camera, everything gets close like that. So now you're losing off to the sides.
Yeah.
If you're limited to one screen, you can buy. I'm talking PC. You can buy a device called Track IR, and when your head moves left or right, the camera will move left or right with the track. So that's another way you can do. That's another way you can get away. But when you move your FOV that close, your depth perception, you're not learning anything. What the true depth perception of the car is, and then also the ability to see outside the windows of the car. It looks cool, but it's actually there for a reason. It's actually useful. So that's my take on the camera settings there, Jeff.
On the hood cam. What about the
Eric? Do you have anything? Yeah, I think you want to add.
Well, in general, that's my take on
the
it.
Last one.
Use the interior camera.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then the last one is the one where basically the entire screen is just the road, like you're basically you're the hood ornament on the car while you're driving, basically. I see some guys using that.
It just like you spend all the money for a sim and you go and do something like that. It just I don't understand it, and it doesn't do it for me.
So you got to think about this, Eric. If you're playing ACC and you use those cameras, now you can't see the dashboard on ACC, and that dashboard is really useful. It has the tire pressure you were talking about. It has the temperature. It has your delta is on that screen. It has your fuel, which you all know that I ran out of gas, so
that may or may not have happened to me, once or twice.
Yeah, that was terrible. Alrighty. And we heard Jeff's input, so safe to move on here. Jeff, what do you think? You got anything else on this?
That's it, buddy. Send it.
Okay, so we got two short topics here. I'm going to short these up a little bit. EA WRC got an update, 1.9. Highly advised. Do not install this update. It has anti-cheat software, and the permissions are kernel level permissions. So if anything happens to EA, Yes, they have way more control over your computer than you think. So I highly recommend everybody go out and read, go on the Reddits, go on the Discord, educate yourselves, be careful with this update. So that's the only thing I'm going to cover with, and it's unfortunate because I love EA WRC and I don't know if I'll be able to continue my career.
That's
so
wild.
Yes.
Wild.
Man.
I know.
So they
and it's
force you
like,
to update?
yes, it's forced. So Steam right now, if I launch WRC, it'll update.
Oh, that's right.
So it's stuck there without me even playing the game. And there's no way to play that game offline either. You cannot play it offline. Not that I have found, because if trust me, everybody, if I found a way, you're gonna hear it on this show, and I'm gonna teach you how to do that here. But I haven't found a way to get it. So I'm thinking about refunding the game after I don't know how many hours I got in the game. It's probably over 100 hours in the game easily. Over time. It's been a whole year since that game dropped, and now they decide to do this, and the community is absolutely ballistic. There's a lot of pissed off people. Excuse my French. So that's an update on EA WRC. Be careful. Version 1.9. Check it out. Be careful. And the last topic, I'm gonna give it over to Eric, which is the Fanatec situation. Here we go. Round 2.
Yeah. So
round 3.
Yes. Look, this might be the final round here. So as you guys may know, Fanatec has been going through some financial woes. Well, it seems those financial woes have spread to their parent company, Indoor, as well. There was in Germany, they have a process. It's similar to bankruptcy. It's called Starug, STARUG process.
What?
And apparently, in trying to, establish that agreement and come to terms on it, the former CEO and founder of Fanatec basically got to the negotiating table and just wanted so much that it fell through. So now Indoor is going under as well, who was Fanatec's parent company. Right now, this is also impacting Corsair's acquisition of Fanatec, so they're no longer on the table.
Ooh.
And sadly, it really seems like Fanatec is going to go away. Hopefully, somebody catches at least their IP and licensing stuff in the fire sale and buys it, because they have a lot of licensed equipment and things like that we'd hate to see go away with the company. Yeah. Right now, it's not looking good for them.
And just so everybody knows, this is news as of July 31st. So if on August 1st they come out of it, they hit the lottery or something, don't crucify us. We'll come back with a like Jeff said, a save round alibi, if you may. So just take this with a grain of salt. Check out the news. It's all over the news, man. It's like on every single sim racing website out there.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, man, but it's their customer service put them in this, made the bed for them, and now they're having to live in it from those black the Thanksgiving sales they had. It took like 4 months, almost 5 months for some people to get their stuff, and 3 weeks to return an email. Man, that's unsat. And it just sucks, right? Because I think Constantino's made some good points that, like, we wouldn't be here in the sim world where we are without Fanatec. Yeah. So I know we kind of give them a hard time, which sometimes it's deserved, but it's kind of sad for everybody. Especially people that are just bought the stuff and now have no support, and all the problems that they're going to have to go with that. So
it's not an easy time at all.
Yeah.
If you want my recommendation, and this is just a personal opinion, nothing against Fanatec. EA's been getting it too. We just hit up EA again, but nothing against EA. But if you have anything that's like dependent on software updates, like wheelbase made by Fanatec, and they completely go away, there's your support for that wheel. So you might want to consider switching ecosystems. This is an opinion and a recommendation from me. I would get rid of the stuff like yesterday. So back to Eric.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have anything else on the Fanatec situation?
Oh well, no news, but definitely some kudos and appreciation for you, because especially being on console, they were one of the first to really, I guess, embrace console, if you really want to say that. They had some officially licensed stuff that worked with PlayStation natively. They had Gran Turismo branded stuff. I was looking at it, and you were like, "Don't do it." And you pointed me to a little company called SimMagic.
I said, "Don't do it."
And and at the time,
then look at the smile on his face, man, when he said SimMagic. Those pearly whites came out. They're like, "Yo,
hey, man, I just put a SimMagic sticker on one of my cups. I just bought some new some stuff for my rig.
Because you don't get enough stickers, right? In the box. No, they send you like 100 stickers,
bro. And even the quality on the stickers. Fanatec. The quality of the stickers, man. Everything. The quality of SimMagic, man.
But to your point, Eric, the Fanatec's an absolute. I think they kind of market those people that are trying to get into the sport or the hobby and don't want to jump in and spend the thousands of dollars on tier 1 stuff. Fanatec's that's what their catch-all is. You know, they're even their websites, all the bundle deals and stuff. So hopefully SimMagic kind of fills that with I think a better product. That's my personal opinion. Right. And a great price. I'll be straight with everybody. Your quality versus price, it doesn't get much better than SimMagic. That's my opinion. So. But we're not here talking about SimMagic. We're talking about Fanatec.
I know, and we're not, we're not SimMagic affiliates. I wish SimMagic, if you can hear us, let us send me an email.
We'll work something out.
We'll figure it out. So the only thing I'm going to say about Fanatec is, while I do appreciate what they did for the sim racing community, I don't appreciate and I have an Apple device, and I'm going to say this on camera, their Apple-like ecosystem where you need to buy their QR because it's their own stuff and you need to use it this way and not the way you want to use it. SimMagic, and I said it again, SimMagic is changing the game. They released a wheel called the GT Neo, and everybody is blowing up on the internet. Nothing but great things from the wheel. And we're not telling you to buy that, but it's an option. So
definitely.
And with that, if there's anything else, the round table, I got Mr. Eric Kelly up for the round table. Anything else you want to put out before the end of the show?
No, that's it, man. Just trying to run some laps. Let's do it.
So that's your saying now? It's Russell laps?
Trying to run some laps. Run some laps. Yeah.
Oh, run some laps. I'm like that.
Yeah.
So Eric. Thanks, Eric. Jeff, what you got for us?
Just a quick shout out to the email. Send us an email with questions, comments. We're kind of letting the dust settle from the Constantinos interview. We'll get to them. We haven't forgot about them. We will get to them. Promise. Keep send some questions, comments, concerns, what we can do better, what you want to hear us talk about, etc. We'll get to them. But short of that, drive fast, brake late. Men, great seeing you as always. And I'm about to jump in the rig here when we break.
Okay. So I just want to let everybody know that, if you're still listening and you caught the middle piece of this somehow, we are a video podcast from last week out, meaning every single show that you're listening on, whatever platform you're listening on, has a video equivalent. Check the description. It's TGS Sim Racing YouTube channel. You can find us. You can see us. You can see us giggling and laughing. But this is us. So, it's a really milestone. It's a really good milestone for us. We're peaking 15 episodes, and we're not stopping. So
let's go.
I'm really excited, and we're gonna keep having those guests come on the show. Please email me or email us, the Chicane Podcast @gmail.com, with any questions, as Jeff mentioned, but also if you have any questions for Mr. Daniel Newman, that's going to be on the next episode.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We're trying to work out the schedule currently. So we're working out the schedule because of all these. We have like 3 different time zones. mind you. So with that, I want to thank everybody on the show. Thank you, Jeff and Eric. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And now everybody gets to see us here in the flesh here. So have a great start of your week and take care of yourselves.